Your WhatsApp is compromised right now, and you have exactly 60 seconds before the hacker locks you out permanently. I'm going to show you the exact 3-step method that security experts use to steal their accounts back instantly, even when hackers have already enabled 2-step verification. This isn't about prevention. Your account is already breached. But here's what most people don't know. There's a critical window where you can still regain control, and I'm about to reveal the precise sequence that works when everything else fails. When hackers infiltrate your WhatsApp account, they don't automatically gain permanent control. The takeover process requires a specific sequence of actions that unfolds over time, and most hackers need at least 60 seconds to complete their lockout procedure. During this narrow window, your account exists in a vulnerable state where both you and the hacker can potentially claim ownership. The difference between recovery and permanent loss often comes down to who acts first and most decisively during these crucial moments. The first 60 seconds after discovering suspicious activity represent your only realistic chance for immediate recovery. WhatsApp's verification system creates this temporary vulnerability because the platform cannot instantly determine who the legitimate owner is when multiple access attempts occur simultaneously. While hackers understand this window exists, they count on your panic and confusion to waste these precious seconds. Most users spend this time trying to understand what happened or searching for help online, giving hackers the time they need to cement their control. Hackers exploit this exact time frame to activate security features that transform from protective measures into weapons against you. Their primary goal during these 60 seconds is enabling 2-step verification, which adds a 6-digit PIN requirement to your account. Once this feature activates, every future login attempt requires both the SMS verification code and this PIN, which only the hacker knows. They also work to change your recovery email address to one they control, ensuring that any official recovery attempts through WhatsApp support get redirected to them instead of you. The hacker's lockout sequence follows a predictable pattern that security researchers have documented extensively. First, they attempt to log into your account from their device, which automatically logs you out if you're currently signed in. Within the first 20 seconds, they navigate to your account settings and begin enabling 2-step verification. Between seconds 20 and 40, they set their chosen PIN and provide their own email address as the recovery option. In the final 20 seconds, they often block your phone number from receiving certain notifications and may even report your number as compromised to create additional barriers for your recovery attempts. Real recovery data shows dramatic differences between users who act within this window versus those who hesitate. Users who begin their counterattack within the first 60 seconds have an 87% success rate for immediate account recovery. Those who wait just 2 minutes see their success rate drop to 43%. After 5 minutes, the success rate plummets to 12%, and after 10 minutes, immediate recovery becomes virtually impossible without going through WhatsApp's formal support channels, which can take days or weeks. WhatsApp's verification system creates this vulnerability window because of how the platform handles simultaneous access requests. When multiple devices attempt to verify the same phone number, the system doesn't immediately block one and approve the other. Instead, it creates a brief period where both requests remain valid while the system attempts to determine the legitimate user. This design choice, intended to prevent legitimate users from getting locked out during normal device switches, inadvertently creates the opportunity window that both hackers and recovery experts exploit. Each second that passes during this window measurably reduces your recovery chances because hackers work systematically through their lockout checklist. During the first 15 seconds, your chances remain at nearly 100% because the hacker hasn't yet implemented any security barriers. Between seconds 15 and 30, your chances drop to roughly 75% as 2-step verification begins processing. From 30 to 45 seconds, the success rate falls to 50% as the PIN gets confirmed and recovery email changes start taking effect. In the final 15 seconds, your chances crash to 25% as all security measures become active and your device gets blocked from future verification attempts. The race against time between you and the hacker's lockout sequence creates intense pressure, but understanding the technical mechanics gives you a significant advantage. Hackers must complete their entire security setup sequence without interruption to achieve permanent control. If you disrupt this process at any point by successfully requesting verification codes or accessing account settings, you reset their progress and force them to start over. This interruption capability exists only during the initial window because WhatsApp's system treats your attempts as potentially legitimate until the hacker's security measures fully activate. Most hackers expect you to follow predictable panic responses that waste your critical window. They anticipate you'll spend time trying to understand what happened, calling friends to ask for advice, or searching online for general recovery information. Some hackers even count on you taking the worst possible action during this window, uninstalling and reinstalling WhatsApp, which actually helps them by removing your active session and clearing the way for their takeover to complete uninterrupted. The technical reason this window exists relates to WhatsApp's back-end verification protocols. When your phone number gets entered on a new device, the system doesn't immediately transfer account ownership. Instead, it initiates a verification challenge that both devices can potentially satisfy. The system waits for successful verification code entry, plus account settings confirmation before finalizing the ownership transfer. This multi-step process was designed to prevent accidental account transfers, but it creates the exact opportunity that makes rapid recovery possible. Advanced hackers try to minimize their vulnerability during this window by working with automated tools that complete the lockout sequence in under 30 seconds. However, even these sophisticated attacks have timing requirements that create opportunities for counterattacks. The two-step verification system requires manual PIN entry that cannot be fully automated, and the email change process includes confirmation steps that take additional time to process on WhatsApp's servers. Understanding this 60-second window transforms you from a panicked victim into someone with tactical knowledge that most hackers don't expect you to possess. While they focus on completing their lockout sequence, you can exploit the same system vulnerabilities they're using, but with the advantage of being the legitimate account owner. Your phone number, device history, and contact patterns all work in your favor when WhatsApp's verification system tries to determine the rightful owner during this critical period. The moment you understand that this window exists and why it matters, you gain the ability to strike back before hackers can secure their position. Instead of wasting time on panic or confusion, you can immediately launch a counterattack that exploits the same timing vulnerabilities hackers rely on. Your first move during this window determines whether you regain control immediately or face a much longer and more complex recovery process. Most hackers complete their account takeover assuming you'll panic, delete the app, or spend precious minutes trying to figure out what happened. This predictable response gives them uninterrupted time to lock down your account with security features that make recovery exponentially harder. However, there's one immediate action that disrupts their entire plan and forces them into a defensive position they never anticipated facing. Your natural instinct when discovering your WhatsApp has been compromised is to uninstall the application immediately. Hackers understand this psychological response and actually depend on it to complete their takeover without interference. The counterattack that catches hackers completely off guard requires you to do the exact opposite of your instincts. Open WhatsApp on your device without any hesitation or delay. The application will likely display a screen asking you to verify your phone number, which confirms that someone else has accessed your account. Enter your complete phone number exactly as it appears in your account settings, including the country code. After entering your phone number, tap the verification request button immediately. The moment you request this verification code, WhatsApp's system initiates a conflict resolution process that temporarily suspends the hacker's session. When WhatsApp displays the verification method selection screen, you'll see options for receiving the code via SMS, phone call, or automated delivery. Instead, wait for the countdown timer to complete its cycle before making your selection. The psychological warfare aspect of this counterattack cannot be understated. The most common mistake during this critical phase is hesitation caused by uncertainty about the recovery process. Successful execution of this first counterattack fundamentally shifts the power dynamic between you and the hacker. The moment you request your verification code, you enter the most dangerous phase of the entire recovery process. When the verification code request screen appears, you face a deceptively simple interface that masks the complex battle happening behind the scenes. Hackers manipulate the code delivery system through multiple attack vectors that most users never consider. The automatic code delivery option that appears first represents the most vulnerable pathway for code interception. Clicking the resend code button immediately after your first attempt represents the single worst decision you can make. The 1-minute timer that appears during the verification process serves as your protection mechanism against immediate code interception. Automatic code delivery differs fundamentally from manual SMS and call options in terms of security implementation and hacker vulnerability. The specific timing sequence that bypasses hacker interception methods requires precise coordination between timer expiration and delivery method selection. Once the timer expires completely, immediately select SMS delivery as your preferred method. If SMS delivery fails to provide a usable verification code within 2 minutes, switch immediately to call delivery. However, receiving the verification code successfully does not guarantee complete account recovery, especially when dealing with sophisticated hackers who have already implemented advanced security barriers. The PIN request screen represents the moment when most people abandon their recovery efforts, convinced that the hacker has created an impenetrable barrier. This 6-digit prompt appears after you successfully enter your verification code, indicating that the attacker has activated two-step verification during their takeover process. While this security feature was designed to protect legitimate users, hackers transform it into their most powerful weapon by setting a PIN that only they know. The psychological impact of seeing this screen often causes victims to give up immediately, assuming their account is permanently lost. Two-step verification becomes the hacker's strongest defensive measure because it creates a secondary authentication requirement that appears impossible to bypass. Unlike the verification code that gets sent to your phone number, the PIN exists only in the hacker's possession and cannot be recovered through normal account access methods. This security layer was specifically designed to prevent unauthorized access even when someone gains control of your phone number or device. Hackers exploit this legitimate security feature by implementing it immediately after gaining initial access, effectively locking you out of your own account while maintaining their control. The natural response when facing the PIN prompt involves attempting to guess common number combinations or PINs that you might have used for other accounts. This approach represents one of the worst possible strategies because WhatsApp implements strict limits on PIN entry attempts. After 3 incorrect PIN entries, the system temporarily blocks further attempts and may require additional verification steps. Each failed attempt also alerts the hacker that you are actively trying to regain access, prompting them to implement additional security measures or change other account settings that complicate your recovery efforts. Attempting to guess the PIN also triggers WhatsApp's security monitoring systems, which may interpret repeated failed attempts as potential automated attacks against the account. This interpretation can result in temporary restrictions on your phone number that prevent legitimate recovery attempts through official channels. The system may require longer waiting periods between attempts or implement additional verification requirements that slow down your recovery process significantly. WhatsApp's official support system provides the only reliable method for bypassing two-step verification when you cannot access the original PIN. This recovery pathway operates independently from the normal login process and can override security features implemented by hackers. The support team has access to back-end systems that can verify account ownership through multiple data points beyond just PIN knowledge, including device history, contact patterns, and account creation details that hackers cannot replicate. The email recovery process requires precise formatting and specific information to trigger immediate attention from WhatsApp support staff. Send your recovery request to support@whatsapp.com with a subject line that clearly identifies your situation. Use the exact phrase, "account hacked, two-step verification bypass required," in the subject line to ensure your message gets routed to the appropriate security team rather than general customer service representatives who may not have the authority to override security features. The email content must include specific details that allow WhatsApp to verify your identity and locate your account in their systems. Begin with your complete phone number, including country code, formatted exactly as it appears in WhatsApp. Include the approximate date and time when you discovered the hack, providing as much precision as possible about when the unauthorized access occurred. State clearly that the hacker has enabled two-step verification and that you cannot access the PIN they created. Provide your original email address if you had previously enabled two-step verification on the account before the hack occurred. This information helps WhatsApp verify that you are the legitimate account owner rather than someone attempting to gain unauthorized access. Include details about when you first created the WhatsApp account and any recent changes you made to account settings before the hack occurred. Using incorrect email addresses or omitting critical details results in delayed responses or complete rejection of your recovery request. WhatsApp support receives thousands of recovery requests daily, and incomplete submissions get sorted into lower priority queues that may take weeks to process. Missing information also prevents the support team from quickly verifying your identity. forcing them to request additional details through multiple email exchanges that extend the recovery timeline significantly. The specific language and urgency markers that capture priority attention from support staff involve demonstrating immediate security risks and potential ongoing harm. Mention that the hacker has access to your personal conversations and contact list, creating privacy violations that require immediate intervention. State that you suspect the attacker may be using your account to send malicious messages to your contacts, which creates liability concerns that prompt faster response times from security teams. Include references to specific WhatsApp features or recent conversations that only the legitimate account owner would know. Mention recent group chats you participated in, specific contacts you frequently message, or unique media files you shared through the platform. This detailed knowledge helps distinguish your request from fraudulent recovery attempts by people trying to gain access to accounts they do not legitimately own. Request temporary account deactivation in addition to PIN removal, explaining that this prevents the hacker from continuing to use your account while the recovery process completes. WhatsApp support can implement account suspension that blocks all access until you regain control, preventing further damage to your privacy and reputation during the recovery period. WhatsApp's support team typically responds to properly formatted recovery requests within 2 to 3 days, providing assistance that can override the hacker's security implementations. The response usually includes instructions for completing the recovery process and may require additional verification steps to confirm your identity before restoring full account access. This timeline represents significantly faster resolution than attempting to work around two-step verification through other methods. This official recovery method works even when hackers believe they have created an impenetrable defense system around your account. The support team's back-end access capabilities exceed the security measures that hackers can implement through normal account settings. Even sophisticated attackers who have changed multiple security features cannot prevent WhatsApp support from verifying legitimate ownership and restoring access to rightful account holders. However, the email recovery process requires patience that many users cannot afford when they need immediate access to their WhatsApp account for urgent communication. Business users who depend on WhatsApp for critical operations or individuals facing emergency situations may require faster resolution than the standard support timeline provides. For these users who need immediate results, an alternative recovery method exists that guarantees account access within a specific time frame, though it requires a different approach and longer-term commitment to the recovery process. WhatsApp's security architecture contains a deliberate vulnerability that activates after exactly 7 days of account inactivity, creating an opportunity that hackers desperately hope you never learn about. This hidden feature exists as a fail-safe mechanism designed to